This past weekend was quite deadly. In the United States, there were two shootings. One, I think, in Ohio, the other one is in Texas. 22 people died in El Paso, Texas, and 9 people in Denton or Dayton, Ohio. And this is not the first and not the last shooting. And the history just is repeating. If there is a statement where you can say history is repeating, this means nothing has changed. If there's a problem, people haven't fixed it, learned from it, or don't want to learn from it, and the cycle continues. So the issue is there is a very high rate of gun-related violence and especially mass shooting in United States among all the Western societies. In fact, uh, except maybe some third world countries, that mass shooting is quite high for a country like United States. And on one hand, the issue might look simple to an outsider like me, like the guns are very easily available, so ban the guns, stop the sales so that people won't have access to these deadly weapons. On the other hand, one needs to understand the United States culture. Guns had been part of it. In a sense, that country, United States, had been formed via guns, with guns, and guns for protection and also for hunting and defending war, but also for as a recreational activity, as an outdoor activity, had been part of American life for so long. So it's actually not that easy to simply say remove guns or ban guns and deal with it, and therefore just take away that aspect of life, and this way there won't be any shooting. It is part of United States. So it is not actually feasible even to say ban the guns. And even a subsection of guns, you might say assault rifle, as the name suggests, is for assault and such, semi-automatic guns and such. I'm not very familiar with all these types, but there are certain guns that are easy to shoot a lot of bullets from, and some guns are like a revolver is not actually practical for killing a lot of people. So, but that's pretty much of a detail. Is there any solution? Apparently, in reality, is something that can do in practice. It is not, otherwise, I think it would have been fixed. But on the other hand, with compromises, I think there can be some alleviation implemented. And whenever I think about um, something that has economical ties, I think about capitalism and fix it by the laws of the free economy. So guns are available. Let's say make them continue to be available. But implement some sort of tax that will the profits, the money coming from the tax going to people who have suffered from gun violence. That money go to education and something like that. So if a gun is, let's say, on sale for $500, it's not very difficult for a young person to have that money of not rich, not maybe middle even income, from some low income household, to gather that money and eventually get that gun. I said young because people would have less money when they are young, and in these mass shootings, I think in both cases the perpetrator was young, but there are also elder people who do that too. I'm just saying that from the perspective who would not have that much ease of gathering the money if they are from some lower income um, segment. So 400, 500, 600 dollar gun is not hard to get. And if you have $2,000, you can buy 4 or 5 guns, or you can buy a couple of guns and plenty of ammunition. Imagine that gun that's 500 instead costing $2,000. Now, I'm sure somebody who is a gun owner would be outraged by that, because that would put a lot of burden, right? If for any other gun they want to purchase, or any other fellow gun lover, yes, but that can be the compromise. This way, people, instead of owning 5, 10 assault rifle, I don't know about laws if they can actually legally own. I guess they can still, as long as they pay the money. Instead of that, maybe owning one, maybe owning none. Make it a recurring payment. If $2,000 or let's say 400% increase for a gun price sounds too much, then make the licensing fee every year renewed, and you have to pay constantly money. If you cannot pay the money, then you have to surrender the gun. But that's actually less practical, to be honest. Then you need to chase after the gun. I think the first purchase price would be easier. Same way with ammunition. Make them more expensive. I mean, put tax on them, right? This will hit the gun economy hard. Yes, sellers, buyers will suffer from it. And unfortunately, with every taxation, there can be a situation where people will resort to black market. Yes, I am all aware of this, but at least just from an economical perspective, owning a gun will become costly. And among the gun violence and mass shootings and the perpetrators, I believe the majority of them are not from very high income people. Sure, suicide and such might not actually be counted within that, but mass shooting is especially. Like a 20-year-old, 25-year-old person to do mass shooting with a lot of ammunition, with some assault rifle, make it 3 times, 4 times more expensive. It will take a lot harder for that person to get that gun and to purchase that ammunition for that money. Do it. This way, you are not taking away the freedom. It is still part of the American culture, but now it is not as affordable as it is now. So you better earn a lot of money to own that gun. It becomes an economical, not a privilege, but yeah, more of a commitment than it is now. This way, you are not banning anything, right? You still have the same guns, but they are just more expensive. I think this can be done. It will be a compromise, and I believe it will greatly reduce the availability of these. I know that there is something like a background check and such, but you know, that will require a lot of control. All of these things practically require a lot of legislation, but taxation is not that hard. It's not complicated. I know it is very annoying to a gun owner, but that should be a compromise. Otherwise, this is the cycle. 10 years from now, the same thing is going to happen, and we will be making videos and discussing it. That's my solution. That's my suggestion. If you have some better ones, you can comment on it. But my condolences to all the people who lost their loved ones. I'm afraid, and I know this is not the last. So somebody needs to do something. Somebody needs to act. And I think increasing the gun ownership price would be one thing. If it is not the gun itself, but maybe the background check might be something that's paid for by the gun. So you know, it's the money issue. However you charge it, can be discussed. But then uh, I think the number will go down because the number of at least legal obtained guns will go down. That's one solution I suggest.